purpose. Thank you for your likes, comments, shares, and subscribes. Thank you to all who have book personal readings, all the channel members and new subscribers. If you are tuning into the live, make sure you like and share the live so that others will get a chance to see it. Okay, so again, if you are tuning into the live, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Also, thank you to the channel members, new subscribers. So the title of this live is You Are Built Different. Okay, you are built different. And many of you know this. You know this, and I feel like to some extent this may be a reminder for you. Some of you may be saying, "Oh, I don't want to be reminded why I'm different." For some of you, this is actually reassuring for you to know that there are other people who are who are who are built different as well. It's reassuring for some of you to know that just like you are not cut, what's the saying? You're not cut from the same cloth as everybody else, right? For some of you, this is reassuring to know that, hey, I'm not the only one that's like this. I'm not the only one that does this. Even especially right now, when we are living in a time where it just seems like, doing the same thing like everybody else. That seems to be like, or I should say, let me just rephrase this. We're living in a time where where trends are trending. Okay, we're living in a time, let me fix this. We're living in a time, hopefully you can hear me well. Hey Janice, hey Michael, good to see you. Thank you for joining the live. Make sure you like the live, share the live as well. If you know anybody else who is, who feels the same, okay, someone who may benefit from this live or other people that may benefit from the live as well, please make sure to share the live with others, okay? Also like the video so that others will get a chance to see it. Hey Chandana, good to see you. Oh, Ashe, Michael, Ashe. I always say it takes one to know one. Hey Scorpio Chiffon, good to see you. Okay, all my Soul Tribe members are in here. Hey. It's good to see y'all. How is everyone doing? How is the energy and everything like that? I feel like I don't take enough time to to interact with y'all on the live. So I hope you are doing well. Oh, I'm glad to see you too, Chandana. It's good to see you. Okay. Good to see y'all, everyone who's here. Okay, so let's talk about being built different. Okay, so especially in a time such as this where, we talk about trends, okay? With social media the way it is, like, and y'all see this, like, you turn on social media, whatever social media you follow, there's always somebody doing somebody else's dance, and then somebody else picks up on this. Like, trends are such a huge thing. Okay, it's about doing this trend, and it almost seems like it's about doing everything else like everybody else. Okay, doing everything like everybody else, right? I think one of the trends that people seem to want to follow sometimes is, okay, I gotta get the latest gadget. I gotta get the latest technology. Why? Because if I dare appear in public, and this is not like a judgment on those who do them, okay? This is more so to focus on those who choose not to necessarily, follow the trends, okay? Those who know that they're built different, okay? Those who know that they're built different. And just because you follow trends doesn't mean that you're not different. I'm talking about those, okay? I'm talking about those who know that you are here for a very specific purpose, okay? Your soul has returned, you are here for a very specific purpose, and you are very methodical. You're very, careful about the steps that you make, because if it's not in alignment, okay, so for you, all right, who's built different, it's more so what you do, okay, may be more connected to, hey, is what I'm doing in alignment with my purpose? Like, you are someone who's very conscious about what you do, who you associate with, all that stuff, because you know that things have to align, okay? Things have to align. And not to say that, we're not human and, we make mistakes and so on. Yet it's different for you, okay? You're someone that is different. And I feel like your spirit guides made it so that way you may even desire different things than, other folks do. For some of y'all, some of the things that are trending may not even be of something that is significance for you, or it doesn't really, as they say, it doesn't really tickle your feathers, all right? And I also feel like sometimes, when people follow trends, they themselves sometimes are not sure of, why they do the things that they do. We're living in an age now where it seems like people are more concerned with how they look, more so than necessarily how they genuinely are. Okay? And I could give you examples of this, okay? Like, a lot of folks with social media pages and stuff like that, it seems to be about, okay, let me do this so that way I can get the most views, or, stuff like that. So I'm speaking to you who know that those things are not, it's not what does it for you. Okay. You're built differently. All right. So, what you do, the things that you do, it's about your soul's awakening. Okay. Your actions are geared towards your awakening your soul's purpose. This is part of why you're built different. Your actions are centered, or they're focused around your alignment, your soul being in alignment with those things. And if your soul is not in alignment, okay, what does that mean? That means that there's a depth to what you do. Okay, you're not someone who's shallow. Although, sometimes people may misperceive you as that. That's not who you are. There is a depth to everything that you do. You make sure that there's a soul's purpose associated with this. And as I'm speaking, I'm seeing this energy right here. This is not, I'm not planning to do a reading, but I'm seeing this show up. This card says inspired action. So you are someone whose actions, I should say, are divinely inspired. You are divinely inspired in terms of everything that you do. Like, you're someone who makes it a point to consult with your spirit guides. And sometimes it's like, it's not even so much as okay, let me pull a card and do a consultation. Sometimes it's just, okay, taking a moment and just reflecting on what you're about to do. That's the inspiration that's coming from within before you do what you do. And some of you, your spirit guides want you to know not to underestimate that. Okay? That inspired action, don't underestimate that. Especially when we're living in a time where people are kind of like more so on automatic. It's, let me do what feels good. Let me do what this person's doing. Let me do what looks good, what is socially accepted. So when you take that time before you do whatever it is that you do, like, that's actually what a consultation is, like consulting with your spirit guides. You ask for guidance, and I know that it goes a lot deeper than that. Okay, it goes a lot deeper than that. But your spirit guides want you to know that you have this ability to pull from within, okay, information that is needed to ask for guidance in terms of whatever it is that you do, whatever it is that you're about to do. Um, Interesting. And as we speak, okay, um, and you're also someone who looks for signs. This is why you're built different. So not only is your action divinely inspired, you're also someone who pays attention to the signs, symbols, synchronicity. This is what makes you different. Okay. You're not someone who just kind of like, just, you're like, oh, this looks good, I'm just going to do this. And you may do that once in a while. But even, I feel like even then, okay, even when your action is something that feels good to you, I feel like it's almost like you also have to get the approval of your spirit guides. Like, it's not just about, okay, this feels good, okay? And as we speak, I'm thinking about, like, the clothes that you wear. You may wear something, okay, I got you. Even in terms of what feels good to you, it has to be in alignment with your soul and your spirit. Okay? So it's like everything for you, because you are built different, everything is centered around, the spirit guide, your spirit guides, the guides that you walk with, your ancestors. Like, you are divinely connected to the spirit realm. This is why you're built different. Okay? And I know I'm like, as I'm thinking about this, it's like all different things are coming. So I'm trying to pull from, what is going to make this a coherent conversation. Okay? So you're built different because you are divinely guided. You're built different because you are divinely inspired. Okay? When you do what you do, for most of you, it has to be connected to your soul's purpose. Okay? So that card that I was seeing here, inspired action. Like, you're not just someone who just like, I'm almost like imagining some sort of like a sleepwalker. You're not a sleepwalker. You're not someone who's like, you ever seen those zombie movies who, like, they're going places, but it almost seems like something is in control of them. They're not necessarily in control of themselves, and at any point it's like they could just be stopped at any moment. That's not you. Okay? You are someone who is awakened. Okay? Your soul has awakened. It's interesting because right before this, like, these are the two cards that I pulled these out, because I check the energy sometimes. And look at this. This is 2-2. Speaking of divine inspiration, right? So you are someone whose soul has awakened. And so you're on that path of your awakening. This is why you're built different. And perhaps this is for someone who, who needs to be reminded, who needs to be encouraged. As someone who's built different, your path is different. You're not always going to, feel the same energies that, people who are not on that path feel. Okay? You're not always going to depend on what feels physically, right, because you don't depend on solely the physical to do the things that you do. In fact, for most of you, okay, because your soul has awakened, you're very much aware that, you consulting the spirit realm is your first and foremost like go to, because you also understand, okay, that you are a spirit being in this physical body. This is why you're built different. Your soul has awakened, right? You're aware of this, you know this, and so it's like everything that you do is going to be different. Even the way you look, the way you dress. All right, you might be someone that people are like, why he dressed like that? Or why she dressed like that? You know, he's kind of square or she's kind of square. You know, you're someone that people wonder about you because you're built different. A lot of those people that actually wonder about you, they're actually, you know, sleepwalking themselves. It's almost like someone who's looking from the other side of the fence or the other side of the mirror. They're looking at someone who their soul is recognizing that they should move towards, and many of them are not familiar or they're not sure how to move towards their soul awakening. Okay, so yeah, people look at you. There are certain people that will look at you. There are certain people that will not vibe with you because for whatever reason. They may not vibe with you because of the fact that they're looking from the other side of the fence or looking from the other side of the glass, okay? And wishing that they could understand, you know, more of that dynamic, more of that energy. And they're not quite sure how to. Okay, so not only are you built different, people see that you're built different. They see that you walk differently, you dress differently. You eat differently because your soul awakening requires that you walk a different path. Like there are things that some of y'all used to do that it's like it's like your body, your soul won't even allow you to do them anymore. Okay? The temptations that you used to have, you no longer have them, or they have diminished. Because we got to be real, right? Because it's like you still trying to, like, you know, remove those, you know, what should I say, those low vibrational types of energies from your aura, because, you know, just because you have awakened doesn't mean that, you know, you're no longer doing XYZ or you no longer, you know, it just means that you're in a different space, you're in a different place. Okay? This is why you're built different. You're built different because your soul's purpose is to live in such a way where those who are trying to awaken, those who wish they would awaken, they will awaken, whose willpower may not be strong enough to awaken quite yet, because best believe the awakening is still happening. Okay, I know we a lot of us thought that the awakening has happened and, you know, that period is done. It's still happening. There's still folks going through their process. Okay, so what makes you different is that you represent, you know, symbolically what an awakened soul looks like. And this is why everything you do is changing. Okay, everything you do is changing because you are being watched. And many of you should know that you're being watched by those who are wanting to learn from you, you know, to elevate themselves. And you are also being watched by people that may not necessarily want you to continue to elevate, because let's be real, there are those energies too. Very similar to how there are people that are wanting to emulate those same characteristics that you have. There are people whose sole purpose is to deter others from awakening because they benefit from you being asleep. Okay? So regardless of who you're being watched by, they definitely see that you're built different. And continue to, you know, walk in your purpose. Continue to Seek to elevate yourself in the highest form. Um, I know that it's challenging. It can be very challenging because this physical body oftentimes, gets tired. Okay. This physical body gets tired. And it is when it gets tired that soul's purpose, okay, reminds it to push forward and do the things that it knows it's supposed to do. Because let's be real, like the energies that are, constantly like, penetrating their energies on us, those are the things that make this physical flesh tired. Okay, your soul is not tired. It knows that it has a purpose. It knows that it has things to do. So if you are someone who continues to get out of bed, to carry out your purpose, to pour your libation and do your spiritual work, you are highly commended. Continue to keep going and continue to feed your soul with the things that are going to strengthen it, because it's your soul that's going to give this physical flesh the energy that it needs to, move forward. And also remember to feed this, this body, to feed it the right types of foods, because that's also going to elevate you vibrationally, energy wise. All right. So that tiredness, and some folks may not get that. Okay. Especially when you're focused on helping others. Some folks may not get that you got to help yourself. You gotta nourish yourself, nourish this physical body with the right types of energies, the right types of foods. If you expect it to keep doing, the work that it's supposed to, you gotta give it the right types of foods, the right types of energy, the right types of people. Definitely gotta give it rest. Okay, so continue on that path to elevation. Because I know it gets so, for many of you, for some of you, it can be lonely. Okay. Especially when you are just starting out on this path, it can get lonely. For some of you, it's like, I'm used to that. Some of you are thinking this like, I'm used to, being in this hermit mode. There are some people that may not be used to that. Some folks, are just starting this journey, and it almost seems like before they even got a chance to have friends, like they started their awakening, and all of a sudden they're in isolation. It's like, what gives? You know what? I'm especially speaking to the young folks right now. Okay. I'm not sure if there are some young folks that are listening, that are on this spiritual journey, where it's like society teaches you that you're supposed to have an X amount of friends, you're supposed to be doing this, you're supposed to be living this kind of life. It's challenging to be someone who is chosen, right? And you awakened at an early age, and then it's like all the stuff that your so-called peers are doing, and you're like, wait, but why do you like that again? Like, yeah, you're just different. And it's a challenge. But I know that that's something that, in your process of being awakened, that's part of the journey. Okay. That feeling of being in isolation is part of the journey. It's not, by accident. It's not by, just whatever, that you find yourself in moments of isolation quite a bit, because your spirit guides require that you go deeper. Okay. Once you know that you have a soul's purpose, this is a constant thing. This is a daily thing. It's a minute by minute, second by second thing that you are constantly, literally consecrating your mind, body, and spirit to serving, fulfilling your divine purpose. So keep on that path. It is not easy. And don't believe anybody that tells you, oh, I just woke up like this. I'm a spiritual being. I don't get tempted. That's BS. That is pure BS. And some of y'all needed to hear that, okay? Because some of y'all may think that, just because you see someone being spiritual on social media, that they don't have issues, that they don't have stuff that they're dealing with. They have stuff. Okay, we have stuff. I have stuff that I'm dealing with. Okay, this is on a daily basis. I'm striving for perfection. I'm not perfect. Okay, it's a work in progress. Like, it's like a lot of that stuff that you've been socialized to do. Sometimes you find yourself like, like going backwards, and your spirit's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Now, you ain't supposed to be eating that. Now, you're not supposed to be in connection with that person. What are you doing? Your spirit will remind you. Okay? And this is why it is necessary that we have those moments in isolation. All right? This is why you're different. You have those moments in isolation to build you, to replenish you, because you're going to have moments where it's like, it seems like whatever's going on out there in the world is trying to penetrate your aura, is trying to, you know what I mean? And we get to be reminded, hey, like, we got work to do. Okay? So this is your reminder. If you didn't get your reminder, you have work to do. You were brought here for a purpose, for a very specific reason. Okay? We have moments where we get, tired, but keep focusing. All right? You got this. All right, y'all. This is the message. Signing off. Peace, love, and divine light.